Hello, everybody. It's Melissa here with Crafty Max, guys. Welcome to our Saturday afternoon chat here, April 2nd, 2022. Guys, how is everybody doing on this Saturday? It's wonderful. Hey, say hello when you pop on here. I see a few people on here, guys. How are y'all doing? Hello, y'all. Say hello in the chat so I can see you. So I can see y'all. Guys, we have a wonderful well, as you can see, it's just me today. It's just me today, guys. But we're going to be talking about food. Food. Hey, Gloria Breaker, how are you doing? Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, Wanda. Hello, my friends. And now, have y'all been having a fantastic day? I'm telling you, it is gorgeous outside. If I could just bottle up that sunshine and bring it, set it right in here with me, guys, I would bring it in so y'all could see, especially for those of y'all who've been having snow, rain, sleet, and all of that. It is probably, well, it's supposed to be like 65 today, but I think it's going to be even warmer. Well, it's 60. No, that's in Mooresville. Let's see here. It's 60 degrees and it's supposed to get up to 66. I'm telling you, friends, the sun is shining. Gorgeous blue Carolina skies. I love it. Did I say hi, Cheryl? I don't know if I said hello to you, my friend. But y'all, I want to talk about food. And now, you might think this is a little bit crazy, but I want to talk to y'all about food, cans of food that is dented. That's one of the things I want to touch on today. I want to talk about like, is it safe to use cans that freeze accidentally, unopened cans in the refrigerator? There's so much information out there, and I pinned, and hopefully the pin works. That I did there for the USDA.gov information. This is where I'm getting my information, guys, because y'all know that's supposed to be where the recommendations are for our food storage, how we store our foods, how long we can keep stuff in the fridge, and all that good stuff. Hey there, Brooklyn. How are you doing today? Hey, Trina, Lisa. How are you doing? Hey, Jerry. Lena Hill and Regina, how are y'all going today, guys? I should say women. We don't have no guys in here right now. We'll say women. Y'all, guys is just a friendly term. You know that. I don't mean anything by it. Hey, Pat, how are you doing? Friends, thank y'all so much for popping on here with me. All right, now listen up, guys. Now, how many of you all have had dented cans, whether you've dropped it or whether it was given to you? I'm talking about dented cans that have food in them, like corn, green beans, that kind of stuff, friends. How many of y'all have thrown things away like that because the can is dented, or you don't buy it because the can is dented? Hey, Mary. Hey, Jonathan. Now I can say guy. Hey, I can say guys. I can say guy. Hey, Jonathan. How are you doing today? Hello, my friend. It is a guy. Is a guy. Okay, I just saw you on here, my friend. Oh, my Lord. You have too. Regina, you have. Trina, Jerry. Yep. Hey, Tanika, how are you doing today? Hope you're doing wonderful. Teresa, hello. I know, Jonathan. But anywho, I wanted to read you all, and I went ahead and printed it out because it's always good to have your own little print sheets for stuff like this. So that's why I pinned the USDA.gov's site, and I pinned it right where you can go to get this information. So you don't have to go looking on their site trying to find it, because it is kind of hard to get to it sometimes. Hey, Kathy, how are you doing? Good morning, Linda. How are you? Hello, my friends. All right, the first thing I want to talk about, y'all, because I want to discuss this because of me canning, and I've had a lot of, a lot of people, a lot of questions about canning. How long? Why do you do it? How long should you keep your jars for? How long is it shelf stable? That kind of stuff, and it's all relative, guys. Oh, you're so welcome. Can you in my craft room with my Alexa? Oh my gosh, I'm in there with your Alexa. Hey, Ray, how are you doing today? If I dented my house, then I'll use it. All right, let me read you this. If a can containing food has a small dent, but is otherwise in good shape, the food should be safe to eat. discard deeply dented cans. And they're saying that use your finger, guys. A deep dent is one that you can lay your finger in. Deep dents often have sharp points. Now, y'all might think this is a little crazy to be discussing stuff like this, but it's important because it's your food that you consume for you and your family. So it is kind of important, right? You're thinking about canning some pinto beans. Oh, Kathy, mine's delicious. Oh, it's so delicious. A sharp dent on either the top or the side seam can damage the seam and allow bacteria to enter the can. Discard any can with a deep dent on any seam. And if I had one, pretend that this is the can, top of the can, and they're talking about the seams here. If that top is dented, I probably, for me personally, would not use it. All right, that's just me, because there is a seal around the top of that can. And if that is dented there is a possibility that a little bit of oxygen can get in that can. And when that happens, we're talking about botulism in your can, which you cannot taste or see or smell. So most of the time, though, they say if you boil your whatever it is, cook it for, it has to come to a complete boil, though, for at least 10-15 minutes to kill that. But if your can is dented on the sides, as long as it's not, you can't put your finger down in it and your finger disappears, you should still be able to eat that food that's in that can, because the can, it doesn't have a sharp point inside where that dent is, because that's where bacteria can start growing as well. But as long as it's not, and it's still concave a little bit, a little curve to it, you should be okay with those cans. So don't throw those away. Open them up and eat them. That's still good food. That's still good food. Hey, Nancy, how are you doing? You wouldn't buy it anyways? I know. All right, guys. How many of y'all go to the grocery store and you will see cans, even if it has a little dent, you're still not going to buy it? I'm guilty. I have to say I'm guilty of it. I prefer not to have dents in my cans. But if you get it home and you accidentally drop one of your cans, and food is expensive right now. I thank you for talking. You're so welcome, girlfriend. If you get it home, you drop it. Like, who was it that said it? But yes, Jonathan, if that can is bloating, guys, y'all don't eat that food. Please tell me you would know not to eat the food. Because you, especially if you see that the top is bubbling up, coming up, bloats out, like Jonathan says, or even on the sides, that's not a good thing. I don't even think I would open that. There's probably a lot of pressure in that can, that if you even broke that seal, that food probably coming out real quick. Years ago, they would sell dented cans cheaper. Yes, that's exactly right. And Linda, there's nothing wrong with the food in those dented cans as long as there's not sharp edges, it's not on the top, or your finger gets lost in the dent of the can, because it can definitely have a sharp edge inside that can. You don't want to eat that food if it's bloated. I know, Pat, girl, no way. There's no way I would ever eat that food like that. Okay, but I wanted to talk to you. I did not find on their website. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I want to talk to y'all about this too, because this even pertains to somewhat of canning at home as well. But it's very interesting that they had this on their website, and I thought it was very interesting. Can grocery stores change dates on meat or poultry products? Do y'all know that? I'm guilty. I don't buy dented cans. Even I know I don't. It depends on whether the product was dated. Okay, listen to this, guys. This is off the USDA website. Can grocery stores change dates on meat or poultry products? It depends on whether the product was dated by the store in its own packaging, or if the date was placed on a package seal under federal inspection. For meat or poultry products packaged under federal inspection, a food retailer may not modify these packing or packs or sell by use dates. on the original packing, even if the date has been placed voluntarily. But listen to this. However, did y'all know this? However, there's always a but. And whenever there's a but, it's usually not good after that, is it? But it says, however, if a retailer places a calendar date on meat or poultry products that did not bear a date originally, there is no federal regulation that would prevent a retailer from changing the date on products that remain wholesome. State or local jurisdictions, however, may have a requirement that bars changing these dates at the retail level. State or local jurisdiction. Some states don't have that. Were y'all aware of that? Now, if it comes under federal inspection, then they cannot change the date. The grocery stores cannot. But if it doesn't, and there's no state or local jurisdiction, the grocery stores can change that date. If the Best Buy date was originally from their sticker, say that it was April 3rd, they can go in today, which is April 2nd, slap another label on that sucker, and there's nothing nobody can do about it. Can y'all believe that? Did y'all know that? I find this stuff very interesting. Knowledge is power. When you arm yourself with knowledge, even on food. And guys, like I said, the reason why I'm going over this stuff is because you're going to be seeing me canning a lot of stuff. When I always recommend now, guys, for y'all, when you go to the grocery store, buy a couple of extra cans of corn and green beans and put it back in your cabinet. You need to start doing that. Right? For those that package their meats in store, that is exactly right. Yep, exactly right, Jonathan. Yes, and they do, don't they, Wanda? Lisa, you knew that too? Jonathan, well, y'all know this more. I'm telling you, it's so good that you are. Yes, some people don't know this. And you don't know what you don't know. I know we say this kind of sayings all the time, but you don't. You don't know what you don't know. And then when you have that knowledge of it, then you have to make a decision on, what's best for you and your family. You don't know, Mary. That's the thing. You do not know if they changed that sticker. But let me tell you this, though. If I go to the grocery store and I see Harris Teeter's, I'm just using Harris Teeter as an example. If I see Harris Teeter label, and then I see another sticker on top of that where the original label wasn't taken off, and I see, and I look at the meat. Is the meat look weird? Okay, but y'all know they put, like in our hamburger, they put they used to call it pink slime. Jonathan, y'all know anything about this? Y'all, I do so much research on this stuff. Pink slime. That's the nickname for the stuff that they put in our meats to keep it red looking, because nobody wants to go to the grocery store and buy a brown hamburger. But do y'all know that brown hamburger is normal? What's not normal is when you go to the grocery store and you buy this hamburger that's been sitting there for a week and it's still pink and red. It's because they put pink slime in it. Y'all, I have been studying cottage laws and food laws. Jonathan, that is so funny. Isn't it amazing? And kind of, it's not scary. It's not scary, but what is allowed to go in our foods? Now, don't get me wrong. The USDA does the best they possibly can. Could you imagine how many rules and regulations that is in place because of food safety? Because there's so many people that get sick. And then there's so many lawsuits, which, oh my gosh, it just goes on and on and on. It keeps snowballing. Oh, I have been buying extra food and doubling my garden. That is wonderful, Linda. And you know what? If nothing happens, praise God. Thank you, Jesus. I'm so happy. Because the only thing is that you have extra food that you're rotating. So you're growing. Linda, you're growing what you eat, right, girlfriend? You're buying what you eat. So you just rotate that out, and you're just going to have a nice supply on your shelf just in case another little virus comes along, and you may have some extra toilet paper that you may have for you and maybe your family and maybe even some strangers. Who knows, right? You try to go and buy meats fresh, so I know it has not been sitting there. That's exactly right. And another thing that you could do as well, find a local butcher. Friends, they're your friend. Go find your neighborhood butcher. They're great because they get their meat fresh. And if you know somebody who actually has chickens, or they have meat chickens, they have cattle that they have processed, hogs that they have processed, et cetera, et cetera. You can go to them, especially if they're your neighbor, and say, guys, would y'all sell me a beef or one of your cows? And then you go have it processed. That meat is like the best. Still red? Oh yeah, still red. Oh my, I'm telling you. It is the craziest. Y'all are never going to look at food the same way when you go to the grocery store. When you buy the tube hamburger and ground meats in those two packages, it's cheaper. That is so true, but it's far worse for you, more processing. It is. It's so true. Jonathan, people don't know that. The tube, and I remember my parents, I remember them buying those tube of hamburger. And, I have never bought that. You're late. Your dad's in the hospital. Oh, Don, we're praying for your dad. I hope he's going to be doing well, girlfriend, and come out soon. Hey, Kathy from South Carolina. All right, we discussed the dented cans and also how the grocery stores can change their label, Best Buy label, sell-by dates, whatever you want to call it, that the grocery stores can change their own label on those dates. Now, if it has federal inspection on it, they cannot. If it has their own a federal sticker, they cannot do that. So, all right, I'm even going to go through even this because I find this very interesting. And Jonathan, I'm so glad that you're on here because you've done studies on this as well, and I love it. Knowledge is power, guys. I cannot explain that enough. Be a little sponge and just soak up as much knowledge as you can. If you're not an avid reader, it's okay. Try to find something that you can read, whether it be on the internet or even YouTube, guys. Just make sure they're reputable, like YouTubers that have farms, that they've been farming for a while, that they know what they're doing before you jump in, and you spend a lot of money and do all these different kinds of things. All right, is it safe to store unopened cans in the refrigerator? I know, guys, y'all may think, what the heck? Make sure you check sources. That is right, Jonathan. That is right. I'll tell you. Is it safe to store unopened cans? It is best to store unopened, commercially canned foods in a cool and dry place, such as a cupboard, pantry, okay? Metals, listen to this, guys. This is so important. Metals can corrode and rust in moist environments.
So don't put it in the fridge?
Don't put it in the fridge. For meat or poultry products packaged under federal inspection. Here we go again with the federal inspection. That's why I pinned up there. For those just popping on here, up at the very top, I pinned the USDA.gov's website right where I'm getting this information. You can take it for what it is. You're on the list for a quarter of beef this month. Pam, that's amazing, girl. Are you going to can any of it? Big stores like Walmart gets hamburger meat from different states and countries, and it's all mixed together. That don't even sound good to me. It doesn't sound good to me. Never put in the fridge. That is right, Lisa. You don't do that. Okay, let me read this again. For meat or poultry products packaged under federal inspection, a food retailer may not modify, once again, these packaging packs or sell-by-use dates. Did I already read that? Okay, here it is, refrigerator. However, this is the metals can corrode and rust in moist environments. However, there's that but again, right? You may store them in the refrigerator for a short period of time. We're not saying take that can of corn and put it in your fridge for 6 months. You don't want to do that. For best quality used closed cans, fruits within 18 months, low acid canned foods. Y'all know what our low acids are. Canned peas, potatoes, corn, meat, poultry, etc. Any meats can keep their best quality for 2 to 5 years. Do y'all hear this? Let me read this again. This is so important because most people think you need to throw your canned food away after that expiration date or best by date. You do not need to do that. Let me read it one more time. For best quality, used closed canned fruits within use them, for best quality, use closed canned fruits within 18 months. Low acid canned foods. Can you get this? Low acid foods has a longer shelf stable life. Low acid canned foods, peas, potatoes, corn, meats, green beans, low acid foods, guys, can keep their best quality for 2 to 5 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to your cupboard and look and get a can of corn. Get a can of corn, guys. If that expiration date is April 2nd, 2022, which is today, you can go 2 years to 5 years past that date and eat that. Use your sight, use your smell, use your taste. That's what you even need to do that even if food is not expired. Because let me tell you this, just because you're buying something from the grocery store and it's still within that best buy date, that can of corn or green beans can still be spoiled in it. Because if something got in that can, or that can got a little speck of something dirty and it was still filled, you could still have botulism in that can. That's why you open your cans up and you smell your green beans, you smell your corn, you do the taste test, the sight test, guys. That's what God gave us for, right?
Absolutely.
Smell your food. I smell everything, don't I?
Even paper.
Even paper. I smell books. It's better to get meat from smaller stores who process their own meats. I agree. Acids eat at the inside metal of the can, leaching into the food. Oh, absolutely. And let me tell you one of the worst things that you can buy in a can, a metal can, and that's tomatoes. Tomatoes is the worst because tomatoes they're very acidic, and so I prefer not to buy anything tomatoey in a metal can if I cannot help it. That's why I can a lot of our own tomatoes, guys. I mean, you do run the risk. How many of y'all have had a can of tomato paste? You opened up that tomato paste and you put it in like your tomato sauce, and there's a metallic taste. Well, guess what that is? That's from those tomatoes, that metallic taste. I can taste it every time. Yes. Even if you have like the Hunts, sorry, Hunts, I don't, maybe I should, I take that back. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just going to say a can of diced tomatoes in a metal can. You can even smell the metallic stuff in that. Ugh.
Yeah.
That they don't, Jonathan. I agree with you. Tomatoes never last long in that can. So, let me see here. It is awful, Beth. Okay, let me see. I went over the dented cans. I went over the unopened cans in the refrigerator.
Trying to keep the cans. You've gone over to keep the cans in like a cool place. Well, not cold, not hot, but normal. Because if you have it sitting out in the sun, that can ain't going to be anywhere near.
Oh no, y'all know
Just
that they know to keep it in like a cupboard. Or we have a basement, which is great for us, and you can even put a thermometer in there to monitor how cool your basement is or your pantry is, so that especially with my canning jars. I want to be a little bit more even careful with my canning jars, but even the metal cans, you really need to put a little bit more thought into it. And if you haven't gotten sick at this point, have you ever fixed a meal and for some reason you got sick afterwards? It could have been something in one of those cans of green beans or whatever. So we got to be a little bit careful with that stuff. It can taste you can taste the metal in any soup cans. It makes you say, I'm telling you, I know.
Homemade soup all day long.
Oh yeah. That's why they say to buy tomato paste in a tube. Yes, you can do that, Lisa. But do you know they do have y'all noticed, since all of this came about with the tomatoes in the metal cans, you're seeing more in glass jars. Mm-hmm. You're seeing even fruits more now, probably in the past, I don't know, 2 or 3 years maybe.
Oh, Well,
maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, it was great to use a can because if it dropped, it would get a little dent in glass. It would break, so they changed over.
Yeah,
and can was a lot cheaper than glass.
But now you're seeing more and more of those glass jars on your grocery shelves, and there is a reason for that. Really, safety reasons. Hey there, Peggy. How are you doing? It's okay, girlfriend. Is it safe to use cans that freeze accidentally? See, I mean, I've never put a can of anything in the freezer, but
if it froze, it usually explodes.
Cans of food that freeze accidentally, such as those left in a car or basement. Now, I can see that happening in the wintertime. Especially if you're in an area that you get extremely cold weather, below zero, it's going to freeze. How many of y'all gone out in your car and your water bottle has frozen? I've done that. Not very often here. She's off today, Lisa. Let's see. Cans of food that freeze accidentally, such as those left in a car or basement in sub-zero temperatures, can be unsafe to eat. However, I love this however stuff, but a frozen can that has not thawed and is not swollen can be safely defrosted in the refrigerator and used. Not on your counter. It has to be in your refrigerator. There's a reason why they tell you to defrost your meats in the refrigerator, not your counter. That is so very important, guys. Discard frozen cans that are not swollen but have thawed at 40 degrees or higher. And you can tell because they start getting they give a little bit. Cans that have thawed and refrozen are not safe. Do y'all know you should not even reheat your food? Or I should say, when you say that you have soup and you reheat your soup and you have maybe half a kettle of soup left and you only want one bowl, don't reheat all of that soup because they say you do not want to reheat reheated food. You don't want to reheat it twice. So get your bowl of food and put the rest back in the fridge and reheat what you're eating. I mean, I do that. Makes sense. Yes, absolutely. Sense, yeah. You don't want to refreeze food that has already been frozen. Where was I here with it? Cans that have thawed and okay. If the product doesn't look and or smell normal, throw it out. Yes. Throw it out. Do not taste it. Because I'm going to tell you what happens. Say that you have soup in the fridge and you think, it's been in there 3-4 days. Most of the time, it'll probably be okay. But when it gets past that third day, I'm like, I don't want to take a chance because I got food poisoning before. I got food poisoning and it was not, I thought I was dying. Okay. I thought I was dying, guys. So, where was I going with that before I talked about my food poisoning?
Hard to say.
Do not taste it. I'm going to tell you why. Because botulism could be in it. Botulism, guys, like I told you before, you cannot see it, taste it, or smell it. And you can boil your soup to a certain point, which would kill that. But where's that point? Are you going to sit there with a timer and time it for 15 minutes at a high boil to kill that botulism? That's why when we pressure can meats, low acid foods, it has to get up to a certain point. Pounds per square, per inch. Yep. It has to boil for so many minutes to make sure that it kills everything that could possibly be in that food. It is so important. I sometimes individually bag soups and freeze. That's good. Then you just take out that's perfect, Donna. That is perfect. Only reheat what you need. That's right, Lisa. Yeah. Lisa said hi, Stuart.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, but that is so important. Okay, I got this because I wanted to go over this with you all. Sometimes we don't think about these things. And since I'm really getting into canning season, I wanted to go over some food safety, and I'm probably even going to do this even with canning. Just some safety measures with, rules on canning. I wish I could actually type everything out but here you can go to the site and just and read what I'm reading you. Linda says, "Hi Stuart, thank you very much for enlightening me on a lot of things I was unaware of."
What was that?
He goes, "What was that?" Oh my gosh. All right, now let's see here. Oh, I love this one because most of us are in America. Most of us here. Even if not, I'm sure you've eaten hot dogs. I love this one. How long can you freeze hot dogs? I think this is so interesting because it's on the USDA website.
I think 100 years.
And they know that here in America, we eat hot dogs. We love our hot dogs, right? Because I'm going to have some hot dogs on 4th of July. I know they're not good for you, but on 4th of July, I'm having the whole works. I've already told y'all that a bunch of times. But I thought it was interesting that they had this about hot dogs on their website. Hot dogs are safe indefinitely. Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. I'm telling you, what the heck is in these hot dogs? Listen, hot dogs are safe indefinitely if kept frozen at 0 or below. Wow. Use them within 1 or 2 months for best quality. And it says,
so that 4-pack that you got at the bottom of the freezer for 5 years,
you can still eat it.
Still eat it.
You can still eat it, but it might not be the best quality, but you can still eat it, and it's not going to make you sick.
A little relish of mustard and ketchup.
It also says, for more information, go to hot dogs and food safety. I thought this was so funny about hot dogs. Did y'all know that? This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. I didn't know that about hot dogs. Oh.
I know when I shop at Lowe's, I come walking out and there's that hot dog stand. Oh,
honey, get in the picture
it's
here.
It's like my favorite place to be. They give me a dog with everything on it.
But I think that is so interesting. Y'all, this is from the USDA website. I'm telling you. So I don't know what's in the hot dogs because y'all know this. Y'all know this just as much as I do. When food is in a natural state, there is an expiration other than things like honey. Not you, honey, but, like bee honey.
I'm in an expiration
honey
state.
Can last forever if it's stored properly as well. There are like salt, sugar. Now it would get hard, but it's still good. You can still use it, right? You don't eat hot dogs, Pat? I don't either, but at 4th of July, I'm having myself a hot dog. I sure am. I want it grilled. I want my hamburger grilled. Yes, I am. And I'm not going to have any bread because bread fills me up too quick. So I'm just going to have my hamburger and my hot dog, and then I'm going to put all the fixings on it without no bread, and I'm going to eat it like that.
You ever wonder why God put man in the garden to begin with? You like fresh vegetables.
We like
that good thing.
Good food, natural food. Food in its natural state does not have a very long shelf life. But when we're talking about these hot dogs, but it is kept at 0 or below, guys. 0 Fahrenheit or below. But it does say to use them within 1 or 2 months for best quality. Because say that the beans that I just canned, the pinto beans, 1 jar of those. The nutrition in that jar will be good, really, really good for 18 months to 2 years. Anything after that, the quality starts going down just a little bit every year. But in 5 years, if it was stored in, a dark place, a cool, dark place, not very much humidity. You don't want a lot of humidity when you're storing your stuff. But I can crack that jar open in 5 years and eat it. It would still be good, but the quality of the food may not be as good. The texture of the beans may not be as good as they were, in 2 years, say. But you can still eat it. But once again, use your nose, use your sight, and use your smell, taste, and eyes, guys. So Costco has the best Polish dogs. Oh gosh, maybe that's where we need to go get them for the 4th of July. I'm just so happy. Okay, guys, so I thought that was very interesting about the hot dogs. Did y'all know, Jonathan, are you still in here? Did you know that about the hot dogs, buddy? It was just the funniest thing. I thought it was hilarious that the USDA had that on there. Okay, how long can you freeze ground beef? I do not eat a bun with them either. I don't, Linda, because I want to eat more food. I want to eat more food. So, oh Lord, macaroni salad. Oh God, my daughter makes the best macaroni salad. But anywho, how long can you freeze ground beef? Ground beef, okay. Ground beef is safe indefinitely if kept frozen. Did you know that?
No.
This is a lot of information, guys. Ground beef is safe indefinitely if kept frozen, but it is best used within 4 months.
Wow.
Best used within 4 months, because after 4 months, the quality of that meat goes down, 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 down. Every month, every year that goes by, the quality of that meat, you may be able to eat that meat.
It's a grade A going in, but it might be a grade
Great.
F by the time.
Great analogy, guys. That ground beef is a ground A. After 4 months, it starts becoming a B, and then gradually goes to an F. And when it's an F, guys, I mean, you can eat it, but
favorable, but not.
But it says to refrigerate or freeze ground beef as soon as possible after purchase. That is so important. If you forget, okay, this is what I'm going to tell you guys. If you forget some ground beef in your car and you remember 3 hours later that it's in your car, I don't think I would eat it. You could take a chance on making somebody sick. Salmonella, botulism, guys. Even if you put it in your fridge or freezer, use your best judgment on something like that. Now, if it was wintertime and it's 0 outside, now your car may get cold enough where it could be okay. But if it's summertime, I don't think I would keep that. It says because it preserves freshness and slows the growth of bacteria. It slows the growth of bacteria. It can be refrigerated or frozen in its original packaging if the meat will be used soon, y'all. For more information, go to Ground Beef and Food Safety. But I want to tell you something. All right, this is important too. It can be refrigerated or frozen in its original packaging if meat will be used soon. Let me tell you, if you guys don't have a food saver, if you have enough money, because I told y'all, this is probably the second thing that I would probably suggest. The first thing was a pressure canner, because you can use your pressure canner as a water bath canner. If you can only purchase a couple of things, you can buy a pressure canner, all right, because you can use that as a water bath canner. So you don't need to go out and buy a water bath canner. The second thing I'd probably purchase, I'm talking about preserving food for your family, is probably a food saver. Do y'all know what that is? That's one of those vacuum seal. It's food saver vacuum seal, where you can bring home, if you get a package of hamburger, you can vacuum seal that. That will suck the majority of that oxygen out of your meat, which that's what causes your meat to go bad. Okay, so it's going to suck out a lot of that oxygen. So when the USDA is talking about it can be refrigerated, frozen in its original packaging, if it's going to be, the meat will be used soon. But if you vacuum seal that meat when you get it home and you freeze it, and I would suggest that you vacuum seal the amount that you usually eat at one sitting for a meal. I mean, you don't want to, if you only eat you fix a half of the hamburger, you want to just go ahead and cut that package in half, vacuum seal each one, and then pull out one when you're getting ready to make a meal. because that is going to, you can keep that. Now, you're talking about indefinitely, and even the quality of your hamburger then would stay much longer than just the, what was it, for what was it, a couple of months, within a few months it says. So, but I would be okay if I vacuum sealed my meat, whether it be chicken. Okay, it just doesn't have to be hamburger. It can be chicken, it can be fish. Oh gosh, what other meat? Rabbit, whatever you eat, venison, turkey.
Roadkill.
No roadkill. We're not even going to go there. But any of that, if you vacuum seal that, get that oxygen out of there before you freeze it, in 2 years, I would not have a problem pulling out that package of hamburger, because that hamburger is still going to look pretty much the same. There's not going to be any freezer burn on it at all. So the taste will still be pretty darn good. So I would even suggest that. You don't vacuum seal, but you wrap in freezer paper. That's good too, Jerry. But I have to tell you, Jerry, I love the vacuum sealer because of how it draws out. It pulls out that oxygen. Freezer paper is good, but it doesn't pull out that oxygen. Roadkill. I know, Brooklyn, I can't bring him anywhere.
That's what she has me. She has me here to do this. So bring out the important things.
Oh, Wanda, your catfish at the farm ponds love hot dogs. Best fishing bait. I'm sure it is. In the heat, never. I know. Too many carbs in beans. You know, my stepson just said that today, too. A lot of carbs in beans. But, there's a give and take. It's all about balance. Your diet has to be balanced. If you eat beans that has carbs, then, don't be eating no bread or some white potatoes or pasta or something like that, and, you're not going to eat them every day. You're not going to eat them every day, guys. It's all about balance, right? It's all about balance. The next thing. Okay, got that one. All right, this is a good one. Y'all ready for this one? How long can you store eggs in the refrigerator? Honey, you want to answer that one without me even reading it?
Over a year.
What do y'all think? You have a food saver. It's great. I'm single and can buy family packs. Oh, Linda, that is perfect. That is perfect. I'm telling you.
How long, honey?
Okay. Eggs may be refrigerated 3 to 5 weeks from the day they are placed in the refrigerator. Okay, does that mean my fridge or does that mean a grocery store fridge?
I don't know. How long ago did the chicken cross the road?
1 month after date. Okay, the sell-by date will usually expire during that length of time, but the eggs will be perfectly safe to use. Okay, let me read that one more time for y'all. Eggs may be refrigerated 3 to 5 weeks from the day they are placed in the refrigerator. The sell-by date will usually expire during that length of time, but the eggs will be perfectly safe to use. Always purchase eggs before the sell-by or expiration date on the carton. That way you can keep track of it. To keep them safe, take eggs straight home and store them immediately in the refrigerator set at 40 or slightly below. That's important. If you guys don't have a fridge that when you open it, you don't see the temperature in that fridge, you can buy a little gauge to put in your fridge. And I would recommend this if you don't have a fridge that does it for you, that will tell you the temperature inside of your refrigerator. That is very important. Even when you put leftover foods in your fridge, it has to be 40 or below. Okay, that is important.
So if you have a dozen eggs, you want to boil them up, or you're going to eat them all that week, and then put them in like pickled bread and butter pickles.
Oh, you're talking about like when it gets close to them actually expiring.
That way you're not wasting it. Yeah. Because I don't know how long a hard-boiled egg lasts.
Leave them in your carton and place them in the coolest part of your refrigerator. So you don't necessarily want them at the very front where you're opening your door. Put them in the back of your fridge, not in the door. After hard cooking,
yes,
Eggs can be stored a week in the refrigerator. That's just hard-boiled eggs. But having said that, you can pickle your hard-boiled eggs. That's going to go in a vinegar solution, which vinegar, as y'all know, is acidic, which means your food is going to be shelf-stable a lot longer. So those pickled eggs, if you guys live on a farm or you have chickens and you are just blessed with eggs abundantly, then most certainly, if you love pickled eggs, pickle the heck out of those things.
Or don't wash your eggs.
Well, that's another thing when I'll go with canning and maybe do a farm thing too. But yeah, guys, if you have chickens, y'all know this. If you have chickens, I'm not telling you something you don't know. You don't wash your eggs. You can put those eggs in a basket on your counter, and it's perfectly okay. It's when you wash those eggs that you have to eat them or put them in the fridge. You love pickled beets and eggs. I love pickled beets, but I don't like pickled eggs. And I love eggs, but I don't like them pickled. You do. Hey, Gail. Oh, it's okay, girlfriend. I thought eggs are no good if they sink in a cup of cold water. No, I think that's an old wives' tale.
I don't know. We'll have to try that.
Brooklyn says, depends how long chicken was in labor.
Yeah, poor thing.
Okay, what's legal in Tennessee? I didn't see that. Did you know certain states have made it legal to pick up roadkill and eat it? They had a newscast. All right, let me tell you this, and I'm going to tell you this. If say, for instance, I was driving down the road and I was in a truck and I had the ability to skin my own stuff. If I hit a deer and that deer died, that thing's going in the back of my truck. Is that considered roadkill? That deer's going in the back of my truck and it's going to go home. It's going to be processed.
Quickly.
That's
during summer. Winter?
Well, winter, no, y'all guys know processing, stuff like that. You have to let that stuff hang, because you have to let that blood. Well, I'm not even going to get into all of that, but you have to let it hang for so often,
Age.
You can tell when your egg was first packed by the code on the carton. That is correct. And it does say leave them in the carton and place them in the coldest part of the refrigerator, not in the door. Okay.
So what happens when you take them out of the carton, putting in this pretty little glass container?
How many of y'all do that? How many of y'all have gone and you've bought? Okay. I've got one in my fridge right now. Y'all went and y'all bought these cute little clear containers.
Because they're cute.
And you put your eggs in them. Because you don't like the carton that they come in with the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Well, looky here. It can be refrigerated. But leave it in its original packaging. Okay. Yeah. Leave them in their carton and place them in the coldest part of the fridge. Did y'all know that?
Oh.
I thought if eggs or pinto beans float, they were no good. Also ran out of beans. This was when first married. It's a 3-digit code that's usually adjacent or right underneath the expiration date and refers to the date by its number in a calendar year. Yep. And sometimes I think people get that confused with the actual expiration date. I have egg containers. See, Linda does too. Do you put ketchup bottles in the fridge after you open? Now that is up for debate. The ketchup bottle states refrigerate after opening.
Is that right?
It does state that.
Well, I'm just curious.
Okay, then how do the restaurants leave their ketchup bottles
for
out
hours?
On the tables? They leave them out overnight and they fill them the next morning. I know this.
That's right.
Have y'all ever wondered why when you go to those restaurants, you grab that ketchup bottle in that cute little red squeeze bottle, and you squirt that ketchup out there, and then you take your hot French fry and you dip it down in that ketchup and you take a bite and you think, the ketchup tastes old. There might be a reason for that.
Bring your own ketchup.
There might be a reason for that.
Put it in your purse.
You keep yours in the original carton always. That way I know the expiration date. That is good to know. Well, guess what, Karen? Well, when our hens start laying eggs again, are they laying eggs right now?
Yeah.
Why are we not having our eggs? I don't even want to know.
I don't know.
I don't want to know why we're not eating our eggs. We're going to start doing that. So because we're not going to be putting them in that thing anymore, honey. Because I do that. When we get our eggs home, I put them in that cute little thing that I bought at Home Goods, and it holds a lot of eggs. I love that one. No, we do not refrigerate our fresh eggs. Beth, if you wash the eggs that our chickens lay, if we wash them, they have to go in the fridge.
Keep them in a cool place.
If you don't wash them, you can put them in a basket. And yeah, because if your kitchen is 80 degrees, that's probably not a good thing. So they say for best results, refrigerate after opening. So not really saying it needs to be refrigerated. My mama never did. Oh, it says for best results. See, I never read there for best results. I guess it depends on what brand you're looking at. But I have to say, I like my ketchup warm. I do not like my ketchup cold because the last thing I want to do is dip my hot French fry down in cold ketchup. I don't want cold ketchup on a sandwich on my hamburger.
Growing up, I think we had a ration because I don't know. It's just like I put a little dot for ketchup, and I used that dot up, but my honey, she got a pond of ketchup, and then there's always half a pond left when she's done. It's like I think we just grew up more rationing ketchup.
Okay, you're talking about that. So you're making fun of my big thing of ketchup that I love.
Ketchup.
Okay, now I don't eat steak very often, but when I do, I like my steak just the way it is. But I look over at his steak, and he has this A1 sauce just drenched. That steak is drenched in this A1 sauce.
Yeah, we all have our shortcomings.
And I'm looking at mine. I don't even have ketchup with my steak. I'm just eating my steak. And it's so crazy.
We had plenty of A1 growing up. Ketchup.
You love ketchup on everything, Jerry. I love ketchup on fried potatoes with onions. OMG. And what was it that I was putting ketchup on the other day? And you're like, what was that?
You were putting it in the beans.
Yes, my pinto beans that I canned, guys. I was putting ketchup in there. Oh, it's so good. You're a dipper and you like a pond too. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. Do you ever wonder why? Do you ever wonder why they build refrigerators with the egg slots on the door when they don't recommend? You know what, Karen? That is an excellent question.
Because I drop them.
No, you've seen refrigerators that has the
eggs already in it on the refrigerator door. Yeah,
and it's on the door. That's not what USDA recommends.
Well, they're trying to sell it conveniently. I'd probably why so many eggs fell to the ground.
See,
I opened the door and boom.
Oh God, that is so true. But you know what, Karen? I wouldn't like that because I like to take my eggs out to get what I need and then put it back in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like to do. They say don't put milk in the door, and I do it every freaking time. That's where my milk is.
They even make the door wide enough for the gallon milk.
You like ketchup in white? In white what? Okay, Will, I see you making me hungry. I forgot your phone, everything else. I'd like the yellow squash fried, oh God, with ketchup. Yes. Oh my God, that is so good. I'm hungry, honey. Oh, I am. Okay, all right, guys. I've got a few more things. How long have I been on here? Oh, I've been on almost an hour. What the heck? I got a couple more. I got to go over these with y'all guys. How long can meat and poultry remain in the refrigerator once thawed? This is different once thawed. I want you to hear this,
3 or 4
honey.
days, maybe.
I'm glad my honey's here because I question him sometimes. He does most of the cooking in our house, and I love him for it. And he's a great cook. How long can meat and poultry remain in the refrigerator once thawed, honey?
Indefinitely.
Because I will ask him when he makes something. I know that hamburger has been in there for a while in the fridge thawing. When he makes something like, honey, how long has that been thawing? Okay, listen to this, guys.
Gotta ask the question.
Listen up, honey. Put your little ears on. Is this the one you can hear the most out of?
Oh, yeah.
Which one is this one?
All of them. I can.
Okay. While foods are in the process of thawing in the refrigerator, 40 degrees or less, they remain safe. while they're thawing. After thawing, use ground meats, poultry, and fish within 1 or 2 additional days.
What?
I told you, honey.
I've been poisoning you.
I knew I've been sick. Christ. Okay, 1 or 2 additional days. And use beef, pork, lamb, or veal within 3 to 5 days. So I'll give you that one for the beef and poultry. Okay, but it says ground, but it does after thawing use ground, okay, ground meats, poultry, and fish. That's ground. But if it's not ground, beef, poultry, lamb, veal within 3 to 5 days. But that beef has been ground.
Let's just keep 2 days from now on, no matter what.
We don't have to worry about steaks, guys, because we don't have steaks that often.
No.
It says for more information about thawing, please see the big thaw. The big thaw. Use it for everything. You love your food saver too, Wanda. I do too, girl. 3 days, Lisa says. Aren't you shocked that they recommend 1 or 2 additional days for ground any kind of meat?
That makes sense. But
I'm telling you. Y'all ain't making
I've
this
eaten
up.
it older. I'm here to talk about it.
So you say, honey.
I'm
Okay.
not safe.
How long is meat or poultry safe to use after the sell-by date? Now, we went over the cans.
Mm-hmm.
That's what your mom did. Huh? How long is meat or poultry safe to use after the sell-by date? While product dating is not generally required by federal regulations. Did y'all know that? I did not know that.
It's not required.
While product dating is not generally required by federal regulation, many stores and processors may voluntarily date packages of fresh or uncooked meat and poultry products. This is very important.
Is that why they wait until it gets off the boat? And then
Lord.
they can process it?
This is important to know, guys, because this can make you sick if you're not careful. Use or freeze beef, veal, pork, and lamb products with a sell-by date within 3 to 5 days of purchase. If you're not going to use it, freeze it. Remember that. If you're not going to use it, freeze it. Within 3 to 5 days. Fresh chicken, turkey, ground meat, and ground poultry should be cooked or frozen within 1 to 2 days of purchase. This is the difference. All right. Okay, let me read this one more time. While product dating is not general, yada, yada, yada. Processors may voluntarily date packages of fresh or uncooked meat and poultry products. But fresh, it's talking about fresh chicken, turkey, ground meat, and ground poultry should be cooked or frozen within 1 to 2 days of purchase. So that means when you go to the butcher, that is fresh chicken, that's fresh turkey, fresh ground meat, ground poultry. You need to either cook or freeze that within 1 to 2 days, or you need to freeze it.
Most of the time we do freeze it as soon as we get back from the butcher.
Guys, that's very important to know that. That's very important. So if you're one of us, or like we do, we go to the butcher and you get some, of course, our butcher pretty much puts it in because he's so good, he go ahead and puts it in individual packages for us, which is wonderful. So he doesn't come home with a whole chicken that we have to cut up and then vacuum seal. Ours is already done for us. So all we have to do, put whatever we're going to use in the fridge that we're going to cook within 1 or 2 days, and then the rest goes in the freezer. That is so important. Hey, Kathleen, how are you doing? Hello, late. Do we use the bent cans mixed beginning? Girl, that's okay. Kathleen, you missed a lot of information, my friend. But just go ahead and go to the top of the screen of the comments, and you will see where I posted the USDA.gov's website, where all of this, it goes straight to this information. So you can go and read that. I would actually even recommend y'all printing that out. All I did is I copied and pasted on a Word doc so that I could keep it for myself, so I didn't have to go back to their website. but it is questionable. Kathleen, if they're dented a lot, I mean, you can go and read that, girlfriend. Oh my granddaughter has a small chicken breast that's in fridge thawed for several days now. Yeah, you need a Donna, print this stuff out for her. All I did is went up and copied and pasted and printed it out, and then give it to your loved ones, friends. If they need this information, if they don't want to go onto the USDA.gov and read up on this, but this stuff is important, and I think now more than ever, since we are actually trying to get a little bit of extra food in our cupboards and a little extra food in our freezers, just to have, because things are kind of volatile right now in our country, in our nation, in the world, especially with fertilizer and stuff like that. We don't know. And y'all know our president came out and stated that there will be food shortages. What that means, who knows? Because he didn't really elaborate if it's going to be corn.
It's going to be real.
It's just going to be real. He said it's going to be real. He said it's going to be real. Food shortages are going to be real, is what he stated. So, and having said that, that means that we are seeing higher prices now this year. Next year, we may see some food shortages this year. I don't know. Who knows anymore? Next year, it could be even worse. So do your due diligence and just have some extra things on hand, guys, because even if nothing was going on, I would still encourage each and every one of you to have a little bit of extra food, put back, at least 6 months. I'd feel better for a year if you could. You just don't know. You just don't know. And, especially if you have extended family, if your grandbabies, you have children at home, your parents, people that you think that you may have to take care of. You never know. You may even be your neighbors too, or even strangers. Eggs that expired in the store are taken and washed and repackaged. Always fill of your eggs and get the ones that feel bumpy. I've never ever wondered what. Did y'all read Wanda's comment? Eggs that expire in the store are taken and washed and repackaged. Always fill of your eggs and get the ones that feel bumpy. I have my information from store person.
Well, that would be against the.
Oh no!
Oh, they can repackage it?
Go back. That's
Rewash
why,
them?
honey. That's why I'm going over this with everybody, because Wanda, according to this, they can do that.
Yeah, all day long.
They can do that, and there's nothing that we can do about it. Nothing. We don't even know that.
Unless you have a chicken and it just laid it in your hand, assume that it's not fresh.
Okay, we did go over that, Gail. Can dates. Let me see where that was. But let me just go ahead and tell you the dates on those cans, sell-by dates. They're good for 2 to 5 years, 2 to 5 years past that expiration date. What happens after the expiration date? That's the best quality. The food in that can is at its best quality, the nutritions and all of that. After about 18 months to 2 years, that food in that can starts to degrade a little bit. The nutrition in that can starts to go down. So even in 5 years, say that you have a can of pinto beans, in 2 years, that's still pretty darn good. Tastes pretty darn good, But after that, if you open that can in 5 years, even though it expired 5 years ago, the nutrition on that bean is not going to be as good, and the texture may even be different, but it's still going to be safe to eat. It'll still be safe to eat. But having said that, you make sure that when you open up that can, you smell it, you taste it, and you look at it. God gave us the best things that we can have: our sense of smell, sense of taste, and our eyesight.
And if it don't feel right, don't eat it.
That's right. If it doesn't, how long can you keep fresh eggs from chickens in the backyard? Kathleen, that's debatable because how do you know which ones are fresh and which ones aren't? If you don't, if you don't go out and gather your eggs at least every day or every other day, you need to start being careful with that, especially if you have your roosters out with your hens, because then before long you're going to start having baby chicks. If you see those hens rooting, is that what they call roosting? If they're roosting on those eggs, well, there's a good chance that those are fertilized eggs. And y'all know it's okay to eat fertilized eggs, right? I'm not talking about chicks in an egg, in the shell. I'm talking about one just little bit of blood, and it ain't gonna hurt nobody. I mean, I've seen that growing up. So if a can is dented, don't buy it. I usually don't. Say that you get home and you drop that can and it gets dented, unless that seal is broken up at the top. If the seal's not broken at the top or the bottom, it's pretty safe. It's safe to use. But if it's dented in and it's like you can put your finger in that dent, then chances are that dent has a sharp edge inside that can, which can create your food to be contaminated. Do not throw that away. Throw that away. Don't eat it. Okay. But little dents, guys, you're okay with that because it's concave. Okay. Inside the can, it's concave. It's not a sharp point that can create, for that to take place. So, but guys, right, for those just popping on, Kathleen, what was it, Gail? Was it Gail? Brooklyn. I pinned up at the top of the comments, the very first comment. It's the USDA.gov's website, and it takes you straight to this information. It's excellent information. Guys, I copied and pasted into a Word doc so that I could print it out for myself. And I'm going to hand this out to even some family members. I think is really important so that they're knowledgeable about it as well. And I hope, people, watch this as well. Y'all share this if you can. This is really important information that people need to know. This is our food that we consume. Lunch meat has a sell by, eat by, but some ham goes bad. Talk to the guy. 4 days it gets bad. I know, Gail. You wouldn't buy it. That's why if I see a dented can in the grocery store, I don't. But I'm telling you, if that's the only thing available, I'm going to be looking at that dent. And if I feel that it's safe, I'm going to go ahead and get it. I'll go ahead and get it. Little dent's not going to hurt nobody. All right, guys. All right. Oh, Lord. We've been on quite a while. You need to let any animal bleed out by hanging it. That's exactly right. That's what I'm saying about roadkill with the deer. You have to hang those things, guys. You let all that blood just, you got to do it. 4 days lunch meat starts bad. Okay, honey, I want you to hear what Gail says. 4 days lunch meat starts bad. This is lunch meat out of the deli. 4 days. You eat it much longer than that.
Oh, good.
You'll have that sucker in there a month, guys.
2 weeks.
I won't touch it. You are so welcome, Trina. Knowledge is power, friends. That's all I can say. Knowledge is power. Do your due diligence on knowing safe food practices from the grocery store. This has nothing to do with preserving food yourself at home. That's a totally different animal with that. And I will do a live on that as well. I think these are good things to know, friends. But y'all, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Y'all go have some fun today. Go enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I'm doing good, Lynn, but I'm getting ready to get off here, girl. Go watch the replay, Lynn. It's well worth watching the replay, okay, my friends? Y'all have a blessed day, and I'll probably go live later on Facebook, so you'll probably see me again. So y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.